In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your radiator on your Mercedes-Benz C300. It's located behind your bumper. We're going to remove this cover first. You're just going to pull up on it and set it aside. And now we're going to remove these two airflow tubes. Ours are not correct. Yours should just unhook from here. And right here is another tab where you'd push in and pull this off. Do that for the other side as well. Again, ours is broken. Now we're going to unhook this hose here by just pulling it off. And then you're going to lift up on either side and unhook the rest of this. There should be 4 clips that are holding it to the engine, like so. We're going to remove our lines out of these plastic brackets to begin. There's one on this side as well. Ours is broken, so we're just going to move that over there. Remove this fastener in the middle here. Ours is missing. We'll have to replace that when we reinstall. And then we're going to go to the side brackets and take those out. Right here on both sides, there's a plastic bracket where you just took the cable out of. There's a tab if you feel underneath. Push it back towards you. And then you're going to pull forward with the plastic and up. And that's going to unhook it from this little square metal bracket. Do the same on the other side. We're going to unhook it from this middle bracket here too. To do that, you're going to pick up on it and push down, and then it will release. Do the same on the other side. It's broken on ours. Now you have an option. You can either take this bolt out, which I find easier, or you can unhook your grill from this plastic piece. Problem with that is it's old, and plastic with age doesn't really mix. So I'm going to take out my bolt. We're going to remove our engine splash shield. I'm using an 8mm socket to do that. This is not original bolts. Use what you have. Should be one more on the other side. We're underneath the vehicle now on the driver's side, and we're going to unscrew this right here, and that's going to let the coolant out of the radiator. Make sure you have a drip pan below. I'm using my pliers just to get it started. Once you get it loose and you see some coolant come out, you can lower the car back down or go back up top and unscrew the coolant cover off of the reservoir. And that'll release the pressure and it'll come out much quicker. This is the cap. We're at the reservoir. We're behind the strut. You're gonna release that and your coolant will come out much quicker. Just make sure your engine's obviously not hot before doing that. And then you just let it drain. Once that's done draining, we'll take the radiator out. To get the fan out, we're going to remove these 2 bolts here and just let this rod go back a little bit. And we're going to take out the 3 bolts on this side and the 3 bolts on the other side. And then we're going to remove this metal cover. There is plastic covers that are supposed to be here. You're going to want to remove those. There's probably grommets holding it in. Ours are all missing. So make sure you remove those so you can see these bolts. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove these bolts. There should be enough to slide this out. I'm going to use a 10mm ratchet wrench to take out this bolt. And do the same on the other side. Before removing this, make sure there's no hoses attached. This is broken off of something. So if yours is attached, you can probably just unhook it. So just remove anything that's on this metal piece. Now we're going to remove this. I'm going to pull back on this rod and slide this out like that. Now we're going to remove these two lines by taking them off this bracket. We're going to use a T15 Torx bit to unscrew the screw on the front here, and then it should come off. Just make sure your lines are free. Like that. Remove your screw. Now we're going to disconnect this connector right here. There's two ears. There's one on this side and this side. And you're going to squeeze it and pull it off. Might have to give it a little bit of a wiggle, but it should unplug. And just set that over to the side and get it out of the way. Looking at the fan, it looks like there was maybe a grommet and something holding this harness to the fan at one point. Ours is missing, so when we reinstall, we're going to zip tie this harness to the fan. If you have a grommet or something holding your harness, you're going to want to remove that before moving your connector to the side. Now we're going to go directly above where that grommet should be and remove this one so we can remove the harness from the fan. So I'm going to use a trim tool for that. Slide it over it. And take it off. Move that to the side as well. The more you have out of the way, the easier it is going to get this fan out. You're going to push in on this tab on both sides. I'm using a flathead screwdriver. And once you hear that click, you're going to pick up your fan. It should slide up slightly. Slide up the other side slightly, and then pull it up. Once you get past those two locking tabs, you should be able to pick up your fan. Now you can remove it. We're going to disconnect the AC condenser from the radiator now. To do that, there's two spots. There's one on this side and one on the other side. And there's a little two pinch tabs. So you're going to pinch it, and then it should release from the radiator. You can pull the condenser away. So you can either use pliers, your fingers, or two flathead screwdrivers. There we go. Just takes a little work, but you can get it removed. And now the radiator is free from the condenser. Do the same on the other side, and then the radiator will be free from the condenser. Use a flathead screwdriver and pull up on this clip. Just going to remove it. And now we're going to release this hose from the radiator. Now we're just going to, if you have to, you can spin it. You can use a pry bar in between here. Just be gentle, not to dent it. And remove your hose. There will be coolant in there, so just be careful. Don't spill it everywhere. It's important you don't mix different fluids that come off the car or out of the car. So I'm going to keep my coolant bucket on the driver's side, and I'm going to keep my oil catcher on the passenger side. And once I'm done draining the transmission fluid and I plug the hole, then I can put the coolant pan underneath and disconnect our coolant hose. Now we're going to remove these transmission cooler lines. To do that, you're going to take off this dust cap using a flathead or a pick or whatever you got. And take that off. And then you're going to see that there's a little clip in here. You're going to use some pliers or a really small hook. So just keep a finger on it on the bottom so it doesn't go flying. And you're going to get a pick in there. Pull it down and out. We're going to disconnect this bottom line as well by pulling out that clip. We're doing that so it's not, you know, all messy when you're trying to get to this one. So let's do this first. Let's take this dust boot off. Again, I'm using my screwdriver. Move that down. And we're going to get our pick and remove that clip as well. Now you can do this underneath, or you can do it from up top, like me. It's up to you. Again, be careful your clip doesn't go flying. There it is. Make sure your drip pan is below, and now remove your lines. I'm just going to pull them out. There is going to be some fluid loss, so make sure your drip pan's below and you're ready to put a plug in it. I'm just grabbing a plug from my various supplies. If you want, you can just put a rag in there as long as there's no dirt. And now let's undo this top one, same way. Should just pull out. And now we're going to clean this up and get ready to catch our coolant again on this side. All right, so I've moved my coolant bucket over, and now we're going to disconnect this clip for this upper radiator hose. It's at the way bottom. I'm going to use my pick again. Just grab onto that, pull it down. Make sure it's unhooked from both sides. Pull it away from this little slot here. And now we're going to pull this hose out. There is an O-ring in there, so you may have to free it up. There we go. I'm going to push this over here, out of the way. And now we're going to take this one out as well. Make sure it's unhooked from both sides, like that. And now let's twist this one. It might be stuck as well. And push that one out of the way. Let's remove our radiator. We got two mounts at the bottom that are just going to pull right up. Get your lines out of the way and whatever else. You may lose a little bit of coolant. So right here is a grommet for the bottom of the radiator. Make sure you have both, and if not, check your old radiator and make sure it's not stuck on those feet. Lower your radiator down. Make sure everything's out of the way. You're going to have to squeeze by the lines that are on the driver's side. Now we're going to get the feet in at the bottom of the radiator. Now that we've gotten it in, just like that. Make sure the mount is in on the other side as well. And now we're going to snap our condenser into our radiator. Push in, make sure it clicks on both sides to snap the condenser into the radiator. Make sure your condenser on the bottom is hooked in. There's 2 hooks that are on the radiator support bracket. So once that's in on both sides, you're going to push in and connect it to the radiator. You're going to feel it click in, and then you're going to push it onto the radiator where those little pinch, where that pinch bracket is. Do the same on the other side. Now we're going to put our transmission lines in. We're going to start with the bottom one first. We're going to take out this little plug and we're going to insert our line. Let's install our top line. We'll take our cover off, or our plug, and take the cap out of the radiator. You're going to remove your clip using a pick. Now you're going to put your line in. Once you get your line in, you're going to put your clip in. I'm going to use a pair of pliers and press it in. Just make sure the 2 elbows of the clip are in the 2 slots. Once you get it in one of the slots, you're going to push down on your thumb until it pops into the other one. It does take a significant amount of pressure. Now we're going to put the one on the bottom. Again, you're going to put it in the slot, just one side, and then you're going to push it down. This one's a little harder to get to. Just check your work and make sure your line doesn't come out. After you put your clip on, you're going to put this dust shield cover back on. Just push it on. It should snap into place like that, and do the same in the bottom one. I'm just going to sand off my connection area. Just make sure if you're doing this, or if you need to do this, that you don't get your O-ring. Also, it's a good time to inspect your O-rings and replace them if they need to be replaced. I'm going to put some silicone paste on the O-ring and connection area. Very thin amount, and that's just going to aid us in getting this in. And also lubricates the O-ring so that it goes in easily without too much resistance. Line it up and push it in. You should hear that click, and then just lock it in. Give it a good check, make sure it's in there. And do the same for this top one. This connection looks pretty good. I'm not going to sand this one, but I am going to put this silicone paste on it. Push down on this ear of the spring clip and lock it into this little notch. And then you're going to push your hose into where it lives. Make sure that O-ring stays where it belongs. Push it in straight. Once you're in all the way, you can lock it into place. Do the same on the one below. You're going to push this out, push this down, push the hose in, and lock it into place. We're on the upper radiator hose on the driver's side. We're cleaning up the hose area for installation. Just getting the debris off and rust. I'm going to apply my silicone paste for the O-ring. And I'm going to line it up and pull this up a little bit. Just lock it in there, push in the hose, and snap it in. Just check to make sure it's locked in. There's 4 spots for the fan to be secured to the radiator. This one's more of a clip-in. Has to get past this little lip here, and this one just slides in. So we're going to slide the fan into the bottom ones as we line up the top ones, and then push down once we're all lined up. So here's the one that clips in, and here's the one that slides in. And the same is on the other side. So that's where we're going to start. Get it past, get both tabs past. So I'm going to put my driver's side part of the fan out a little bit so I can get it past the hose on the passenger side. And then I'm going to put that tab under the AC line, and then I'm going to slide it down, making sure the bottom of the fan is touching the radiator. And as I lower it, I'm going to try to get all 4 tabs lined up. We have one more hose to get past. And now we're going to line up all 4 tabs with the radiator bracket. So you're going to take a peek down there and make sure it's lined up. If it's not, you're going to pick it up and wiggle it to get it into place. You also got to be mindful about these AC lines. Make sure they're not under the fan. Once you see all 4 tabs lined up, you're going to push down on the fan and lock it into place. Like that. Let's plug in our connector on the fan. So I'm on the driver's side, below the upper radiator hose. And we're just going to line it up. Once it's lined up, you're going to push it in and hear that click. Now that we've plugged that in, you're going to put your harness back in the fan. There's 2 holes and 2 grommets. There's one here, and there's one down here. So just push those in. And if you don't have those, you can use zip ties. Now we're going to put our bolt in for our AC lines on the other side, the passenger side, very low part of the fan. Feed your bolt through both holders for the AC lines and into the fan. Once you know you're through both, you can tighten it down. Make sure they're secure. Here's the underside of this metal bracket that goes here. There's rubber bushings that fit onto this, and this goes into the radiator. Just make sure both are there so that it holds the radiator still. And now we're going to install. You're going to lift up this rod. If yours isn't wiggly enough, you can loosen up those nuts where the oil cooler line is. Basically the other end of the rod. I'm going to slide this under. And I'm going to fit my bushing into the radiator. If you need to move it around, you can. And just slide it in. You got to turn it slightly in order to slide it through the bracket. If it doesn't line up right away, that's how you could line it up. There we go. Okay, now that we're locked in place, I'm going to put this back in. Now we're going to put our bolts in. There's 3. There's 1 on this front pad, and then there's 2 here. And these are the bolts that you're using. Once you got them hand started, we're going to tighten them down. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. And for that one on the inside, you're going to use a ratchet wrench to tighten it down. Go about 1/4 of a turn after you're tight. Now we're going to put our 2 shorter bolts in for this bracket. And I'm just going to make sure this is in the right spot by pulling it forward and tightening it down. You can usually tell by the markings on the bracket where it was. It's good to line it up where it was. Let's put this piece back. To do that, you're going to slide it into the 2 notches on the grill. It should pop in. There you go. One side and the other. Once it's in the 2 notches, you're going to put your bolt in. Ours only had 1 bolt. We're not sure what was in the other side. I'm just going to use a push pin to secure it after I tighten this up. And that'll just lock it in place. Now we'll put our plastic shield on. I'm going to line it up with this hole. Our vehicle is missing several pieces and parts. There should be plastic pieces here that you need to attach. We don't have those. Now we're going to put our plastic push pin in here. And we can put all our engine cover back on. And if you have your plastic shields here to go over the headlights, do that as well. We're going to attach our cable into our holder. There's a spot here and one on the other side. And also in the middle. This is broken for us. Attach our cable here as well. This hose goes right in here. And this should be attached to this. Now you can put your engine cover on and whatever else there is covering the headlights. Slide it into place. Make sure the square is lined up. And then once you're lined up, you're going to push in. There's 4 points that you have to push in. Now we're going to install our airflow tubes. Notice where the curve is and line it up accordingly. And then push it onto here. Yours should line up, ours doesn't. Do the same on the other side. Make sure you put your tube back on. Slide it on, and now we can put our last cover on. There should be 2 clips here. We only have one, and there should be 2 grommets that fit into these 2 spaces. Line things up. You're going to see 2 slits here that fit into that groove. Like that. Should snap into place. Now we're going to put our coolant in. Make sure you use whatever the manufacturer recommends. We're going to put the coolant in till about here. It's going to guzzle it up. And once it stops to about here and it stops guzzling, you're going to start the vehicle. Let it run for a while. Put your heat on. Let it warm up enough so the thermostat opens up and you have heat. Once it opens up, it's going to suck in the rest of the fluid. It's going to burp a little bit, and then you're going to top it off at the end. All right, so we ran our car. It's nice and hot. We topped off our coolant, and now we're going to put our cap back on. Tighten it all the way. And now you want to make sure that you top off your transmission fluid. If you lost any fluid, make sure you use whatever the manufacturer recommends for fluid and top it off. To install your engine splash shield, you're going to put your flap inside the bumper. Position it into place and make sure you have this lined up with this. Once you're there, you're going to install 1 bolt to hold it in place and then install the rest. Now you can do your 2 side bolts, one on this side and one on the other. And now you're going to put those 2 in on the other side as well.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.